YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me today in another edition of Vancouver Housing Crisis. I got one here, a good article here. It's kind of a post-diction, not a prediction. Let's go. Canada warns about huge mortgages growing housing debt. Nearly half of new high-ratio mortgages in Toronto exceed 450% of their incomes. Do you know what that means, 450%? CBC News posted on December 15, 2016 a.m., last updated December 15, 2016 at 10:18 a.m. Nearly a third of recent Canadian homebuyers with so-called high-ratio mortgages wouldn't qualify for their loans under the new rules recently implemented by the federal government. You know, I've been talking about these new stress tests they're putting on people. Calculating your TDS and CGS to see if people fit. That was one of the findings of a wide-ranging report from the Bank of Canada on Thursday, looking at the biggest risk financing the financial system, known as the Financial System Review. The twice-a-year report from the central bank singled out a familiar theme that poses a risk to the economy. High debt levels related to inflated house pricing. Inflated house pricing, people, is the key word. Average house price up 7% in the past year, CREA says. In the past year, Ottawa has moved repeatedly to address the high housing debt as far as the new mortgage rules. For instance, the government now requires that borrowers have their finance stress test. Remember a few weeks back we talked about the stress test? To gauge their ability to pay back mortgages in the event of a raise in borrowing rates. That's called stimulating the economy, because no other way to stimulate when you're not exporting and you're not creating. The new rules also stipulate that total cost of mortgage payments plus property tax utilities must not take up more than 39% of the borrower's gross income. Back in the day, it was 45%. Your TDS should be about 45%, and 45% you're stretching it. Now they're trying to push to 39%, but 39%, if you do the math, 39%, but that's not factoring, again, like I said in many videos, electricity bill, car insurance, cell phone bill. You know how some of those Mickey Mouse cell phone bills could cost you $200-300. You get yourself in a bad cell phone plan, man, you're cooked. Once you factor those in, bus passes, this, that, it adds up. Your TDS does go up a few points, so be careful with that, guys. Despite those moves, the bank says it has noticed an increase in the number of homebuyers who are borrowing more money than they can pay back. Based on their income, a borrower would be considered a high-ratio mortgage if he or she is less than 20% in equity, and considered especially vulnerable if the total value of the loan at least 450% of their annual income. It's huge. The bank calculates the almost half new ratio borrowers in Toronto or above that threshold by 39% are in Vancouver. In Toronto's case study, such monster mortgages are spreading to nearby cities like Oshawa, Whitby, and Hamilton too. In these cities, the bank said, the proportion of high-ratio mortgages with ratios exceeding 450% has more than doubled over the past 3 years, from about 10%, roughly 25%. Across the country, the bank says that nearly a third of people who took on high-ratio mortgages in the past year wouldn't qualify for their loans under the new rules. Go figure. Why didn't they do this before? So people wouldn't be in this predicament right now. All else being equal, about 31% of high-ratio mortgages issued national during that period would not have qualified. Analysis says, fear and loathing in the Vancouver housing market. Oh my God, did you come up with that yourself? Anyways, let's continue here. The report comes to say that the same day that report of Canadian Real Estate Association shows that the average house price risen 7% in the past year, up to $489,000 in November. The central bank noted that means house prices are now just under 6 times the average household income, their highest record level. Let's say it's more than 12 times or 16 times the income. But what do I know? I can't read. Let's keep going here. The good news on the housing front, however, is that central bank links new rules will eventually achieve a goal by bringing new debt levels. Really? How'd you figure this out? The policy measures introduction to federal government in the autumn will, over time, have a constructive effort on the number of high embedded households. The bank said it also warned that self-reinforcing price exemptions may also be supporting price increases to major housing markets of Toronto and Vancouver. So I wanted to read this. Decent article, but it's all post-diction. This is all stuff. Nothing's being predicted here. We all know that everything's going down. The Ponzi scheme is up. Everything's over. Now they're trying to renegotiate the rules as you go along. That's what you call an Italian job. Renegotiating the rules as one party sees fit to better the whole bubble, right? Or to better one side's, so one side could do well. One side gets the better portion of the deal. I am not liking what's going on with this. I think it's really bad, especially with this this down payment support. Come on, guys, comment below on this, because these people now don't believe. I'm seeing a lot of people losing, not setting goals. The younger generation, people in their early teens, mid-teens. I heard a girl, like maybe 13, 14 years old, talking to her friend on the elevator saying, "Oh, I could probably never afford to buy a car in my life." You're 13! How do you know you're never going to afford to buy a car in your life? People are giving up young now. Back in the day, it was like, I'm going to get my 2-3 cars, I'm going to buy a nice house, I'm going to do this, and all I have to do is work a job, and I can get everything I want. Now it's changed. People today, like teenagers today, even in their early 20s, wouldn't believe it if you told them, "Hey, my dad, all he had to do was work, and he ended up buying a house, put me through school, put 3 kids through school, take a vacation every year, buy a car every other year, every 3-4 years, and maintain a house back in the old country in Portugal, and still maintain that and still keep maintaining and going forward." You know what I'm saying? But this is really bad. People don't believe that nowadays. Yeah, right. You used to walk 3 miles to get to school, and after I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I did actually have to walk 3 miles to get to school, believe it or not. But that's true too. But what's going on, people? Whatever happened to 3 times houses? Was it 2 or 3 times your annual income? A car used to be 1 or 2 times. But things went overseas to make things cheaper. Things are supposed to be cheaper. Wages are supposed to be going up. But that never happened, because once he took the jobs away, the wages couldn't go up. Or people are in service industries now. Where's the people making tires? Where's the people making raincoats? Where are the people making umbrellas? Because if they kept that here, that would have eventually created more exports, and locals would buy locally. Things would have been different. I don't know anything, but now when I'm reading this, the average threshold is this and that. Back in my time, or back in my dad's time when he was young, he wouldn't sleep a single night if he knew it would take him 100 years to pay off his house. He ended up paying the house off in 6 years at 17% interest rate. 18% interest. He ended up paying the house off so quick. Nowadays, it's not even a possibility. It's designed so that you basically are never going to own anything. And you can mark my words on this one, and you can put this on paper and pen. You're never going to own your car in about 10 years. You know why? They're going to make it. They're going to make a system with a low payment, like $300 a month or $200 a month, to make you think that, hey, you're going to buy this Ford, but you're going to never own it, but we'll always maintain it and do oil changes and regularly see that your car is running well, and you don't have to ever buy a car again. We'll always have this one maintained for you. It's like a bad cell phone plan. Then you trade in your car for a better one once your 5 or 10 years are up, and you never own it. And I have a feeling cars are going to go that way too, just like homes. You're never going to own it, and you're never going to own a car in the next 5 to 10 years. Mark my words. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I don't know anything. This is an opinion piece, and people that are calling me fake news, I don't know why. I'm not even news. I can't even read. Anyways, comment below. Let me know what you think. People don't understand. you know, what has happened and how housing became a commodity where people started to forget, you know, you know why? I'll tell you why. Because we're moving further away from that family-oriented lifestyle. That's why. Because it's all becoming a business now. Laying roots for a family is no longer is a far option, an option that people don't deal. Everyone looks at equity, everyone looks at growth, everyone looks at everything but family orientation. And family orientation is disappearing, and that's what is driving, young kids to suicide, people to become homeless at a young age, people to not have dreams, like the girl in the elevator. Oh, I'll never be able to afford a car in my lifetime. What the hell kind of attitude is that? But that's what I'm trying to say. People are already programming themselves to not have anything. Not because possessions. I'm not talking about the whole possession thing taking you over. I'm talking about setting goals and setting up dreams and becoming something more than what you expect it to be. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.